Badgers, who are coming off a bye and ready to reestablish the run. This Bowling Green offense is a direct descendant of Art Briles and Baylor, and they try and put up similar numbers as fast as they can, and for Wisconsin, much more methodical. One of the best, of course, in the country at running over, around, or right at you to try and establish their game plan. Wisconsin in their home reds, Bowling Green in all white. They won the toss and they wanted the ball first. Andre Givens is the deep back, Ronnie Moore right in front of him. Andrew Endicott handling the kickoff duties for Wisconsin. And they will down it for the touchback. Bowling Green's offense getting set to head out there. As we welcome you to Camp Randall Stadium, I'm Beth Mullins along with Joey Galloway. Paul Carcaterra is also with us today. And Joey, at Bowling Green, they call it Falcon Fast. And in last week's upset over Indiana, they ran 113 plays. And can they keep the pedal to the metal today against Wisconsin?
Yeah, and that's going to be the key. How many plays can they run, and can they stay on the field? You got to keep Melvin Gordon and Wisconsin on the sideline. They're going to run a lot of plays, but they can score a lot of points going for their second straight win versus a Big Ten team. The amount of plays, the amount of points is going to be key for Bowling Green today.
The quarterback for Bowling Green, James Kanapke, coming off a record-breaking upset of Indiana. 46 completions on 73 passes. The finishing touch was a touchdown pass in the final seconds to win it. His first pass attempt is batted down right in the middle of the field. Chikwe Obashi knocking it down. That win, by the way, last week, the first in 6 years over a power conference opponent. And now Dino Babers looking to go back-to-back. He's replaced Dave Clausen, who moved on to Wake Forest. They were the champions of the MAC a year ago. The give is to Travis Green, their top runner, over 1,000 yards last year, and he makes it back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Yeah, Beth, and you can look already. Wisconsin is already at the line of scrimmage, and it's bump and run. For Bowling Green, they want to get the ball out quick. They want to throw these quick hitches, slants, and that's why Wisconsin's up close to take away the quick game.
The top target is number 1 at the bottom of your screen, Roger Lewis. Third most receptions in the nation. On 3rd and 10. Kanapke looking deep and just off the fingertips of Heath Jackson, the 5th-year senior out of Ada, Ohio. And it's 3 and out. They
got to hit that play, Beth. That's important for this Bowling Green team. If they want to throw the short game, the quick game, eventually you got to hit a big one because it backs up the defenders. They had their chance there, Lewis down the sideline. That's one that Kanapke will want back and hit that one later.
Well, the Falcons only had to punt once last week against Indiana, and they will punt today on their first possession. Kenzel Doe, the punt return man in his career. He has touchdowns on both kickoff and punts. Kenzel will give it a go. He's got an alley up the middle. Breaks a tackle at the 40. Doe held up at the 25 and taken down there by the punter, Joe Davidson. 37 yards on the kick, 39 on the return, and that sets up Wisconsin nicely.
You just have to tackle. A lot of guys had a shot to bring down Doe in this situation, and he had the ability to make some guys miss, and then you see the stiff arm, the strength, the ability to run through tackles. All of a sudden, they're already in the red zone for Wisconsin, a chance to get off to a really big start, get a 3 and out, and then offensively starting on your 20.
An injured Falcon down on the field, number 34, Victor Osborne, who came in late to make the tackle on Doe.
Doe's going to be a little disappointed himself when he looks back at that play. As a punt returner, we always say, do not let the punter be the guy that stops you from scoring a touchdown. If you get a chance to get your eyeballs on the punter, just you and him one-on-one, as a punt returner, as a big play guy, you always think, I can make the punter miss and score a touchdown.
We'll take a timeout here, just underway in Wisconsin. First possession for Wisconsin. McAvoy going for the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Alex Erickson. Daryl Hunter had the coverage. Tanner McAvoy, the first-year starter after a struggle against LSU in the season opener. He bounced back nicely against Western Illinois. showing his agility and his accuracy. Broke Russell Wilson's school record with 17 straight completions. After winning the job in the preseason against the incumbent Joel Stavi, who was listed as the third stringer coming in today. And here's a big difference from McAvoy. The cutback at the 5, 4-6 from 24 yards out. Second rushing touchdown of the season for Tanner, the junior from Hillsdale, New Jersey, who was playing defense for the Badgers last year. And now front and center. The extra point for Wisconsin is good on their second offensive play of the game. They hit pay dirt. It's McAvoy that will finish it, but how about the All-American Gordon with a nice block up front for him? All set up by a dandy of a punt return. Gordon with Austin.
About Melvin Gordon in this run game, if they can find a way to make plays outside versus the man-to-man coverage that they're going to get, because teams come in playing Wisconsin wanting to stop the run.
2nd and 2, Gordon with Austin Ramish, the up back in the eye. And here is Gordon. And the ball is down on the deck. And for the first time in Melvin Gordon's career, he has coughed up the football, recovered by Nate Locke.
35-yard line.
Beth, and early on defensively, you can see Bowling Green, 8 guys in the box to stop the run game. That's how LSU had so much success later in the second half, was putting 8 guys in the box. Look at all the Bowling Green guys around Gordon. Everybody has a hand on him in there reaching, trying to strip this ball out.
I think it was Kendall Montgomery who may have stripped it out. Gordon has not fumbled in his career until that moment. And so now off the turnover, James Kanapke from the 35, and a gaping hole up the middle. It's a foot race to the pylon, and the Falcons will win it with Fred Coppett. The quick strike capability, 35 yards off the Gordon turnover.
Yeah, and that's just great blocking up front. You can see Coppett breaks through the line. Nobody touches him. Give the offensive line a lot of credit. These guys, you look at Huddle on that side and Dietz on that side, the right tackle. They opened up a hole. They got great movement, and then he's untouched. He has to score here.
A Bowling Green defense. And after the Badgers scored on just their second play from scrimmage, Bowling Green gets a turnover and immediately strikes to tie it up. They forced the fumble from Melvin Gordon on his first carry. The kickoff in the direction of Kenzel Doe. He'll take it at his 1. Nice little stutter step at the 20, gets out close to the 30-yard line, 28 yards on the return. Back to the touchdown from Coppett, Joey.
And here's a linebacker, Trotter, standing in the middle, unblocked on this play as the play starts. He's in the right hole. He can see Coppett right here, has his eyes on him, but give Coppett a lot of credit. Give that right side of the offensive line a lot of credit. Huddle Deets, they collapse that side. Coppett has the ability to get back to the hole, and it's clean once he goes back because Trotter gets caught up in the wash because the offensive line blocks so well.
And how about the fist pump immediately from the quarterback Kanapke, who saw Trotter's head in the middle and knew that Coppett could spring it wide. A 2 tight end look, and it's Corey Clement with the carry, carrying a defender out across the 40. Here's Paul.
Earlier, that Melvin Gordon, for the first time in his career, fumbled the ball. When he came off, he got his left wrist taped. Pre-game, too, I saw him doing a lot of ball transfers. So right now, he's not in the ball game. Something to look at as this first quarter progresses.
Thank you, Paul. Of course, he had big numbers through 3 quarters against LSU in the opener. Then he was disappointed with his production. He got an awful lot of attention in the Western Illinois game, not much room to run, and very anxious to get back out there again today. Clement, nice cut. Out across the 45, he's wrapped up there.
It'll be interesting to see how long Melvin Gordon stays on the sideline. As an athlete, I used to hate if you make a mistake, the first thing you want to do is get back into the game, get your hands on the ball, get back into the flow. With Melvin Gordon standing on the sideline, the last play he made was a fumble. That's in his mind. We'll see if the wrist is a serious problem, but I expect to see him back in this game really quickly to get the ball in his hands again.
He and James White combined last year to be the top rushing tandem in FBS history, and they thought maybe Gordon and Clement could have big numbers together this year. Corey gets out to midfield. Looks like he'll be about a yard shy of the marker. Paul Sen with the tackle. Good time to note too, Joey, for this Bowling Green defense, they are without their top lineman, their top linebacker, and their top man in the secondary. Zach Colvin, DJ Lynch, and Ryland Ward are all out with injuries. One of the carryovers from that Indiana win.
And on a play like a 3rd and 1, this is when you would want Colvin in your game. He's your biggest defensive lineman, your best playmaker up front.
6 across the front for Bowling Green defensively on short yardage. McAvoy with the cutback, and the fall forward will get him the mark. Let's go back to the studio and Chris. So a couple of leads for other Big Ten schools. Here Bowling Green and Wisconsin tied. Looking for a 4th MAC win over the Big Ten Conference. They've got 3 of them this year. Off of the play action, McAvoy overthrows Erickson. Jude I.J. Barima had the coverage. How about our impact players, Gordon and the tight end Arneson, and then Gabe Martin, who we've mentioned at backer.
Yeah, and Gordon hadn't had a chance to make many plays yet here today, standing on the sideline now, but of course he's the big play guy. Tight ends have to block better, but Sam Arneson has been outstanding in the catching passes, and then Martin, the linebacker, is going to have to cover and help stop the run versus Wisconsin.
Replacing their top 2 tight ends this year, Arneson, 10 career catches. 5 already this season. McAvoy looked like he turned to pitch to somebody. Nobody was home. And Tanner will improvise. Paul Sen missed a tackle back behind the line.
And I don't know if Sen goes for the fake pitch or what happened there, but that's a play that Sen has to make. He's one-on-one with McAvoy. in the backfield. If he makes that play, it's a huge stop. But give McAvoy credit. I think it was a mistake, but his athleticism showed, and he made this play work out as he completely
that can't be a good feeling.
He completely turned to look to see there's no running back beside him.
Nobody there. Clement stays in at tailback instead of Gordon. They'll use him on the play action. Incomplete on the pass. The crossing route for Austin Traylor. Bernard Turner was coming up on McAvoy fast.
And you can see the misdirection, the play action pass. It has the Bowling Green defenders hesitating. If Jamerson comes downhill right now and comes at the quarterback, he has a chance to make a big play there, but they're hesitating, trying to see, okay, what are they doing? Just play fast. Go play football. Try to make a play. You've seen on the last play, linebacker had a similar situation when it was Sen one-on-one with McAvoy. He hesitated also. Just play football.
Gordon deep in the eye. The receiver screen. Erickson breaks the tackle, gets pushed out of bounds inside the 15. And I think he sidestepped down the line towards the first down marker. No, they're going to say he was out of bounds at the 16. Good block by Jordan Frederick to spring him.
Yeah, give Frederick a lot of credit here. Gets into the DB's legs and just crosses him up for a couple seconds, and that's all it takes on these receiver screens.
They'll bring up 3rd and 3. Again, they will move Gordon out of the backfield into the slot. Clement now at tailback. And it's Melvin on the move. Clement looking for space, following Lou Allen, burrowing his way inside the 10. Big Dallas Llewellyn at 6'6", 320, leading the way.
Bethany, you watched the defenders for Bowling Green. When Melvin Gordon comes across this field, you can see 3 guys going with Melvin Gordon, which opens up the hole for Clement to get this first down. That's the respect that these guys have for Melvin Gordon. Hasn't done much yet this game, but Bowling Green knows coming into the game, if you've studied Wisconsin, there's going to be a time when Melvin Gordon gets his ball in his hands and he's going to make a big play.
Play action. And the pass, stumbling inside the 5 and down to the 2 is Austin Ramish. Second catch of the season for Austin and a pickup of 6. One of the things that we've already started to see is that huge front line for Wisconsin. They've got the size advantage over Bowling Green. Close to 70 pounds on the average. Gordon and Ramish in the backfield. It is Melvin Gordon springing to the outside for the touchdown. Coach Gary Anderson told us yesterday, Joey, we need some better blocking on the edge from our tight ends, and he got one right there.
Yeah, and Arneson, we just talked about him being one of the playmakers in this game. He's been very good at catching passes. You can see nice block off the edge. He's the one that sprung Melvin Gordon to the end zone with his block on the end.
11 plays, 70 yards, over 5 minutes, and Wisconsin back on top, 14-7. The PAT is good as Gordon comes back from a fumble on their last possession to reach the end zone. Race. Gibbons won't make it all the way back out to the 20. Here's Chris Cotter in the studio.
First down, Bowling Green.
Well, the Spartans look to be in pretty good shape at home over Eastern Michigan today. The MAC trying to have a record-breaking season against the Big Ten. The most they've ever had, 5 wins. They've got 3 this year. It's Andre Gibbons with the carry, not much room up the middle. Central Michigan has a win over Purdue. Northern Illinois beat Northwestern, and then Dino Babers' club last week. Bowling Green over Indiana with a touchdown in the final 10 seconds to that man, Roger Lewis. The pump fake. Kanapke looking for Lewis out at midfield, and they're going to get the pass interference flag. This is the matchup that Bowling Green was looking at. Shelton covering Lewis.
Yeah, you see the double move by Lewis, runs the hitch and go, which you usually don't get versus bump and run coverage. If you get bump and run, you as a receiver, you just go. Lewis does the stop. Shelton takes his eye off, loses his concentration, and gets downfield. We talked earlier, they took a shot earlier, had a chance to hit a big one to Jackson. They missed it. See him go downfield again. They have a chance to hit this one. They get the pass interference call, but Kanapke's going to have to hit a couple of these deep balls. Had Lewis open, just throw the ball out there and let him run for it.
And James had some time, the offensive line. If they can give him that extra moment with this fast tempo attack. So a little power out of the background. This is Travis Green. Green's the junior out of Florida who set a school record last year with nearly 1,600 yards on the ground. He had his 11th career 100-yard rushing game against Indiana last week. Kanapke pass was tipped, and it falls incomplete, intended for Lewis. That time Darius Hillary had the coverage.
You talked about Green the play before. You know, as we watch the tip ball here, and that's going to be key. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up. But you mentioned Green, the running back. When I watch this kid on film, he's a lot better than he gets credit for. I know he had the yards last season, but he is extremely quick in the hole and makes people miss.
Kanapke looking for his first third down conversion. Instead, it's the third batted ball of the day at the line, but there is a penalty flag too in the backfield. Alex James was able to swat that.
Holding offense, number 58. That penalties decline. 4th down.
And I think Alec was the one being held as well.
If Wisconsin can get after Kanapke with their front 4, it's going to allow them to leave the 7 guys back in coverage. Where you get in trouble versus Bowling Green is when you have to blitz, when you have to bring your safeties, you have to bring your linebackers, and it leaves your defenders one-on-one out in the secondary. If they can get their front 4 wise like they did on that last 3rd down, they'll have a lot of chances to play coverage on the back end.
They are getting up in passing lanes as well. Kanapke is just 1 for 6 so far in this first quarter. Another punt headed in the direction of Kenzel Doe. And this time he'll call the fair catch at his own 21. How about Chris Cotter? And how about them dogs, Chris?
My goodness, Sco. I mean, tell studio just throw it to us when they're done. Sheesh. That's a lot of studio.
Let's talk Gurley and Gordon.
All right. Well, you want to wait till Gordon does something, or?
Thank you very much, Chris. Well, of course, a lot of the experts are talking about Todd Gurley and Melvin Gordon as the top 2 running backs, certainly in the upcoming draft. Todd McShay has them at 1 and 2, and possibly both in the first round, which we didn't see at all last year for a running back.
Yeah, and if I'm the one picking, Beth, I'll take Melvin Gordon first. I think he's better than Gurley. I think he has a better ability to put his foot in the ground and change directions. Gurley's a terrific running back, but what Melvin Gordon has the ability to do, run between the tackles, the vision, and get out wide once he breaks through the tackles, I think no one better than him in the country, and I would take him before Gurley if I was drafting.
Corey Clement with the carry. It's Charlie Walker on the tackle. The strategy thus far, Joey, to move him out into the slot and also to send him in motion. And as you mentioned earlier, that's attracting a lot of attention and giving them the opportunity to run it elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think offensive coordinators in these situations, Andy Ludwig, would look and see, okay, what is the adjustment? When we send him out in the slot, what defensively is Bowling Green going to do to try to defend that? And once you find out what they're going to do, it'll allow you to call your plays according to the defense.
He is the motion man, and again they go in a different direction with Clement, and he is stuffed down to Kirk.
Well, Beth, Kim McLeod, defensive coordinator for Bowling Green, his message to his defense before they went on the field was the same as it was yesterday in our meeting. Load the box and make the corners play out on an island, forcing Tanner McAvoy to beat them through the air. And Joey, anxious to hear what you have to say about your early impressions about McAvoy throwing.
Well, all I know is that last drive was 8 carries for 75 yards, averaging 9. So the idea of getting the guys in the box, when you get there, you must tackle. They've had guys there, but they've missed a lot of tackles early in this game.
3rd and long. McAvoy stepping up, but he loses the football. And it is recovered by Rob Havenstein, the right tackle. It was Brian Thomas that caught him from the backside.
And that's just a three-man rush here. You can see Thomas back, nowhere to go with this ball from McAvoy. As you look downfield, as the coverage, there's 8 guys back in coverage. Not anywhere to go here. You have one here in the middle, and maybe, and then these 2 guys down here. Thomas beats the tackle and gets to McAvoy before he has a chance to get this ball out of his hands.
Not only did Kim McLeod want to get the 3rd and longs, but he said, we've got to win them, and they won that one. Drew Myers' punt off the bounce, and it's down at the 35. 43 yards on the punt. And it'll be 1st and 10 Bowling Green. What else is happening around the Big Ten? Well, Christian Hackenberg has Penn State out to a 3-0 start. Tops in the Big Ten in passing yardage. 4 ranked teams, including this Wisconsin club at number 19. And the top returning rusher from a year ago, just in front of Melvin Gordon, Amir Abdullah, 9th in the country in rushing. And the Huskers also 3-0, Joey, with perhaps the biggest game of the day for the Big Ten against Miami.
Yeah, and a lot of people, when they talk quarterback, they talk Christian Hackenberg. You see I circled the 4 TDs, 5 interceptions. To go to the next level, he has to take care of the football.
Green, and wrapped him up around the ankles, may have gotten a couple. Of course, Penn State is already 1-0 in the league. They got the road win at Rutgers. One of the 2 newcomers to the Big Ten along with Maryland. And the new regime of James Franklin in his first year. The pass is dropped out across the 45. Intended for Heath Jackson. Look at those Wisconsin players, Joey, hanging around that sideline waiting to see who's going in and out.
Yeah, you put about 20 guys on the field, and then we just figure out, do we have time to run them on the field, or do we not bring the guys back out and keep the 11 we had out there the last play?
No 3rd down conversions yet for the Falcons. This pass caught at the 45, and the twirl and the throwdown of Jackson may have thrown him beyond the marker. Gain of 9, and there's their first conversion.
Yeah, give Jackson some credit here. Catches this ball and has the ability to drag Shelton, stay on his feet, keep his balance, and falls for a 1st down. Big one for this Bowling Green offense to see if they can now get in that fast rhythm that they want to play at.
Looking left and throwing that way, incomplete. It was interesting talking to Dave Aranda, the defensive coordinator for Wisconsin. He thought that Bowling Green liked as much as they could, Joey, to stay over on their side of the field. So their subs are running a shorter distance. The Wisconsin guys have to run farther to get out there for the snap.
And you can tell early on, all the throws have gone toward their sideline. The 2 deep balls were to the left side of the field. It makes it easier for not only to get the subs on, but their coaches to see what they're doing offensively and make their calls.
Kanapke with plenty of time, looking for Lewis. He makes the catch. Did he stay in bounds? The side judge talking it over, and they will say he stayed in bounds. Caputo with the coverage.
Wow, what an outstanding catch by Lewis. What makes it so good is the fact that Caputo was there early. Caputo grabs his arm. That is pass interference. They didn't call it, but it didn't matter.
Ruling on the field was the receiver caught the pass inbounds. That play is under further review.
How about the call by Grady Smith, the side judge? He called it in real time. That left foot gets down inside. Just need the 1.
And just as you pointed out that Bowling Green had thrown everything toward their sideline, they heard you, and they come back and throw it to the opposite sideline and connect on their first deep ball. They've tried this a couple times, and that's going to be key for Bowling Green to connect on these deep balls, because then it makes Wisconsin defensive backs have it in their mind that we can't just come up here and shut you down on the short stuff. We have to worry about the deep stuff.
36 yards to Lewis if it stands. Only Amari Cooper at Alabama and Kevin White at West Virginia have more catches this year than Roger Lewis, the true freshman.
Out of Ohio, Beth. That's the way we grow him in Ohio that way. But he has been outstanding for Bowling Green early in the season, and has been a big physical guy, a pleasant surprise for this team.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a catch. First down.
That's a great call, Beth. I'm down here field level. I was actually right next to Lewis when he grabbed that. You could see where the turf actually started to dig up right here. Lewis's foot dragged, but it started right here. Great call by the official.
Paul Carcaterra, our ninth official of the day.
Yeah,
I like it.
Did you tell the official I got your back? I seen it myself. I got your back, guys. Good call.
Someone's got to have my back, Joe. You don't.
He ain't heavy. He's my brother. 14-7. Wisconsin with the lead, but the Falcons threatening. Travis Green is the setback. They're showing two tight ends, Coleman and Rolfe. The pump to the left, feeling the heat, and throwing it away. And having a chat with Trotter on the way back to the line of scrimmage. How about for Wisconsin? This is just the fourth trip into the red zone for an opponent all year, and only alongside Florida have they not allowed a touchdown from inside the red zone. Little misdirection to Green, breaking tackles. Diving inside the 10. Zagzebski almost had him. So on third down for Bowling Green. They've scored on 11 of their trips inside the red zone, 11 of 14. Incomplete to the back of the end zone, looking for Pullman, the tight end.
To give Marcus Trotter a lot of credit here, the linebacker. We pointed him out on the long run by Bowling Green for the touchdown. This time, Trotter reads his keys, understands the play action pass, and stays back in coverage. Does a nice job of making sure that Kanapke can't hit his tight end down the middle.
Tyler Tate is the reigning MAC player of the week, had 4 field goals in the Indiana win. This is a 28-yarder. And he is true. The drive into the red zone. They come up with 3. A close one so far. Camp Randall out of the studio. I know Joey's a fan of Stephon Diggs and Dion Long, the terrific wideouts at Maryland that were both hurt last year. Penn State and Nebraska right now, the lone 3-0 clubs in the newly named East and West in the Big Ten. We want to be at the top of those standings at the end of November and get into that Big Ten championship game in early December. Of course, there's only 4 spots in the playoffs, so at least one of the Power 5 conferences will get left out of the party.
I mean, you think if Notre Dame gets in, then maybe 2 of the Power 5 get left out.
Coming up on the final minute here in the first quarter. A couple of rushing touchdowns for Wisconsin. McAvoy and Melvin Gordon scoring. Bowling Green able to take advantage of Gordon's first career fumble and turned that quickly into 6. As Melvin heads back out there. You talked about what a great teammate he has been for some of the younger backs, about how he was disappointed with his rushing against Western Illinois. 17 carries for just 38 yards and looking to bounce back in a big way today.
He only has 2 carries so far for 2 yards. We've seen the fumble. He did get one into the end zone, but I would expect to see the ball in his hands a lot in this quarter.
Give is to Doe on the end around, trying to get the edge, and he runs out around the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 3.
And I think you can see some of the injuries on this Bowling Green defense starting to matter. You talked about Ward being out. You talked about Lynch and Pullman, and the defensive linemen. They have defenders in places. They have just got to make plays and make tackles when they get there. As you can see another missed tackle on this play.
And Gordon with room. The cutback at the 40. Melvin Gordon hauled down inside the 30-yard line. The patience of Gordon to wait for the blocks in front of him. And then doing a little on his own as well.
Not just the patience, but you can see the vision. He comes around here, has the patience like you said, but the vision to look inside and then realize I have the speed and the ability to bounce outside. And I think that's what separates Melvin Gordon from the other running backs in the country. Is people talk about vision, but a lot of people can see. It's the ability to see it and then get there once you see it, and that's what separates him.
40 yards on that run from Melvin Gordon. He certainly anticipates continuing a streak of 9 years in a row here at Wisconsin with a 1,000-yard rusher. 19 of the last 21 years. They have had such a rich tradition. And it seems like every couple of years they're cranking out a guy to head off to the NFL.
And just like that, we talked just two rushes for 2 yards, and now all of a sudden it's 3 rushes for 42 yards. That's that big playability. That's the speed that once he gets in the open field can pull away from guys.
Of course, their legacy includes a couple of Heisman winners, Alan Amici and Ron Dane, 1999 and 1954.
That might be their only wins.
120 yards rushing for the Badgers here in the first quarter. Bad snap, ball is out again, and it's Bowling Green football. The 3rd time that Wisconsin's offense has fumbled, and twice they have lost it. Taylor Royster with the recovery.
You can see the ball just looks like it does not get up to McAvoy's hands. Looks like it hits the center bolts right in the leg when he snaps it up and back on the ground. These kind of mistakes so far are keeping Bowling Green in this football game. The defense for Wisconsin started off nicely, get a couple 3 and outs. The offense puts points on the board, and then these turnovers are what are the equalizers so far for Bowling Green.
Erdrink and Jackson will go left. Lewis isolated to the right. They are looking for Lewis. And overthrown by about 5 yards.
In center for number 1, Lewis.
Darius Hillary with the coverage. This is already the 6th possession of the quarter for Bowling Green. A touchdown and a field goal. Again, a direct descendant, Dino Babers is, of Art Briles and Baylor. They want to run the exact same kind of tempo. And so far this year, they're actually running more plays per game than Baylor is. Green caught in the backfield. Kenyel Jean with the tackle. And Bowling Green will let it run. To the second quarter we will go here at Camp Randall Stadium. 14-10. Wisconsin on top. Badgers made it look easy early On just their second play of the game, McAvoy runs it in. Coppett responds, and then Gordon finishes.